Good. What's up, Facebook Live? We're going to get things rolling here. We're going to try to make record timing. Just got to get it shared one place, and then we'll share the other spot during the show as long as the internet cooperates. Katie Meyers is going to be on with us, Notre Dame social media director. She does have a team dinner to get to. The team's got the day off today, so once perfect timing. Look at that. And there we are. There's our beautiful mugs.
Well, yours.
And we got a little production value on the screen. Look at that. That's pretty. That's pretty. We got a big announcement coming up. I'm not going to get too deep into it because, as you know, we gotta do our thing. Got to get the recording for iTunes and all that started. Share it on mine. We'll give it to the Dose Leprechauns for the many views. We have one viewer already. Man, the people love us. All right.
It's probably me.
Yeah, it's probably me. Well, me sitting here watching it.
Yeah.
All right, let's get a little silence and we'll get this thing rolling. What's up, Facebook Live? What's up, SoundCloud? Welcome into the East of the Bend podcast. I'm your host, Greg Schaefer. We are the official podcast of the Notre Dame Fan Club of Columbus. Got my boy Will Havanis here in the house. What up, brother?
What's up, man?
So rumors can finally be put to rest that you died on the hill because you're here with us. So that's good news. Good news. Fun times, as always. The East of the Bend podcast, as always, is brought to you by Dempsey's Food and Spirits. Game watch parties, 346 South High Street in Columbus, Ohio. Game watch parties every day, every college football Saturday that the Irish are playing. We're going to be live out there in person doing a pregame show on September 1st from like 5:30 to 6:45ish. As you know, the last between this show and the last show, the game day is coming to South Bend, so we're going to try to outdo those guys. I think we got a good shot. What do you think?
Yeah, we got this.
We got this. Hold my beer. Watch this. Hey,
yeah, Lee Corso, and he's got nothing on me.
Dude, it's that dude. Should I get my pencil and point it at the screen? Parking is going to be free down there at the 34 East Fulton Street parking garage. Vouchers will be provided with your receipt at Dempsey's, and we're going to try to green the place out. The stadium's going to be greened out, so let's try to green out. Pop the microphone there. The stadium's going to be greened out, so let's try to green out Dempsey's. Should be a good time. So let's pop the mic one more time before we call Katie back. Also in association with the Dose Leprechauns, Jason and Nate doing their thing on the West Coast. They did the last episode. Nate filled in for his dad, did a nice job. Corey Mays was on. Man, they've had Joey Getherall on the show. They've had a lot of big names on the show. Tony Hunter from down in Cincinnati's been on there, so check them out. Check out their page. I'm an admin on there as well, so check them out. Also, DJ Digital Input, our guy Kent Price, 740-973-0817, 80s, 90s dance music and more. Ken will bring it to whatever party you need, any event to entertain your guest. Here's a fun challenge. If you can find a song that cat doesn't have, then you win. You win that gift card of $17.58 that me and Will keep talking about.
I think it's like $12.
Is it down to 12? You used it for lunch, didn't you?
Yeah.
Ken will be down at Dempsey, so if you want to check him out, if you want to book him for anything, go ahead and stop down to Dempsey's for the live show, and he'll be down there, and you can book him at that point in time. He'll have his banner up with ours and everything like that. Just remember, you can catch all of our previous episodes, iTunes, SoundCloud. We are now on Google Play, finally. Or anywhere else you get your pods, at East of the Bend on Facebook, where we're currently streaming live, Twitter, East of the Bend. We just hit our 500 followers, so thank you, Facebook. 505th or 10. I think we're at 510 on our follows, and then 506 on likes. So 4 people follow us that don't like us. So all right, that's not bad. Out of 510,
yeah,
that's pretty good.
I'll take
that's
that.
That's not my life statistic. So.
I'm just wondering how many people like us but don't follow us.
Yeah, that's
so we have what, like 510 likes.
We have 510 followers. We have
510.
and
okay.
506 likes.
Yeah.
So yeah. We do have the YouTube channel now, so every video on Facebook Live, if you know somebody that doesn't have a Facebook page, they're Amish, apparently, and get them if they didn't watch the Facebook Live feed, or if you just like the YouTube live stuff or YouTube videos better, you can watch on YouTube there. We just finished up the Coaches Spotlight episode there, 2-3 weeks ago with Tim Johnson. One final time, I want to give a huge thank you to all the coaches that came on. That was so much fun. It was a project I started in the spring, and we intended to originally have more coaches on, but I don't know. I didn't know that the success of how good this would take off, and it was amazing. We're definitely going to do it again next year, and we do have a huge announcement as far as high school football and that sort of thing coming up toward the end of the show, right around probably 6 o'clock. Katie's got to be out by 5:35 for the team dinner, so we're going to get her back on the line very, very shortly. We're also going to get into we're going to get into all that. We're going to get into some college football teams trending up, trending down before Friday's show. We got a quick turnaround before Allison comes on with us. Allison Hayes from ABC 57 in South Bend. So, so that's just one of those things we're going to get to that we don't think we'll get to during the college football preview. So, without further ado, we'll get Katie on the line. Remember, follow Katie on IG, Twitter, at Katie_Meyers_. Mouthful. On Twitter and IG, as I said there. I've been posting a lot of her pictures throughout the week, and she has the best job ever, in my opinion. So let's get that thing cracking right now. What's up, Matt David? How you doing, man? I'm a Dose Leprechaun, too. Hey. It's funny, we have admins from all over, and none of us know each other.
Hello?
Hey, Katie, it's Greg Schaefer again, giving you a call back here with Will Havanis. You're live with us on the East of the Bend podcast. We appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Awesome. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Tell us a little about your background and things like that, how you got into sports social media.
Sure. So I was born and raised in California. I lived there until last summer when I moved out to South Bend to take on this job here with Notre Dame football. I was raised in a family with sports. My dad works in sports production on the television side, so I kind of just grew up in the sporting world around all of the technology that goes into putting sports on TV and all of the talent side of that. So I went to UCLA for my undergrad. And from there, I started working at the school newspaper, where I got to start traveling with football and basketball in my sophomore, junior, and senior year, taking photos of the team. So that was pretty awesome. Traveling, I got to go to all 13 football games and however many basketball games there were.
Yeah,
From there, I started. Yeah, it was cool. From there, I started interning with the athletic department at UCLA, which led to a job when I graduated, and kind of just took on the social media role and kind of self-taught from there.
So what did you end up majoring in? Because I'm just curious about that. Like, did you major in like business, or did you major in like photography or film or something?
Yeah, so UCLA does, there's different schools inside of the university. So I applied for the art major there, which was a separate application, and I got into that program, which was surprising. So I majored in art, and I minored in film and television at UCLA.
Nice. I bet it was something else to cover games. I mean, you got to all 13 games inside the Rose Bowl. That's a nice first assignment, I'd have to say.
Yeah, I couldn't really complain much. I got to go to national championships with other sports. It was, if you ask me, my major came more from working for that newspaper than it did for the classes I took.
Okay. Did you did you write for the newspaper too, or did you just do photography?
I just did photography, and I did an internship in the sport department, but I never actually wrote anything for the actual team or for the paper. No.
Gotcha. Yeah, we've been trying to delve into other aspects of it. Will's actually, you probably noticed on the show flow we gave you the camera questions. We'll get to it in a little bit. Will's delving into some photography himself, and Yeah, so it's definitely interested in that. Your shots are awesome, and you have probably the best job ever, by the way. So don't forget that. Straight from
I
us.
won't forget.
Straight.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. I've tried to get you as many IG and Twitter followers over the last couple weeks as possible because some of those shots, those are really good. And I tag it with, and these are credit to Katie Meyers at I. Da, 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 da. Do you ever just get? This is kind of off the script here, but do you ever just kind of get sick of social media though?
Yes, I do actually. Yes, I do. There's a lot of times that I stay away from my personal social media for a while because there's only so much you can scroll, and I do a lot of it for work day to day. So sometimes it's nice to not see what everyone else is doing outside of that.
Yeah, exactly.
So do you have like 2 MacBooks, 3 iPhones, or?
I've got a lot of technology. I have 2 cell phones, 2 computers, an iPad.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did see the one picture. It was the one you sent us to use for your promo, and somebody commented underneath, "Is that 2 phones in your pocket?" And yeah,
Yep,
that's one personal and one for
all the
Notre
things,
Dame.
yeah, everything. Well, I retweeted the picture of your desk, and I was just like, I'm just halfway getting decent at graphic design a little bit with the show, and I'm like, that gives me a headache just looking at all that.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
So
But
do you?
it's definitely worth it.
So do you? I know you did when you were at UCLA. You did some basketball and you did football. Do you shoot any other sports? Do you do anything on the side, like with shooting weddings or engagement shots or anything like that?
Not really. I did a little bit of baseball because one of our players, Cole Komet, is on the baseball team.
Oh, nice.
So I went to a couple games of him pitching, but not as much as I used to. I used to have lots of sports to cover, but now there's not really much time with the demands of this team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, when I first found you, I kind of knew when you came to the program and you, the former social media director, leaving. I actually didn't know. This is full disclosure. I did not know that you were just football only. And then after I seen everything that goes into what you do, I'm like, there's no way you could hardly cover any other sport. Like,
Yeah.
So
I pretty much go anywhere they go.
So is it just you, or do you have some interns underneath you that you're directing?
I have last season I had 2 student interns in season and then another one out of season. And they come in, they work hard and do a lot of great work. They do a lot with me on game day as well as throughout the week coming in and working on stats and getting ready for the next week of what could happen, as well as helping me organize from the last week with photos and whatnot.
Nice. So, real quick, just what does off season look like for you when you guys aren't in season? What kind of stuff are you into during that point in time?
Yeah, the off season is when the players are very much dedicated to goals and getting their skills prepared. So it's a lot of time in the weight room and on the track. So that's the social side of it, of what I'm gathering. But for me, outside of that, it's a lot of going through the last season and looking at everything that did well and things that could do better. So I can go in and prepare for the next season with content that I think will do the best on whichever platform.
Mm-hmm. This is kind of skipping ahead here, but is there any platform you like, you enjoy working with more than the next?
Instagram is my favorite personally, just because I am a photographer and I think that's where photos do the best.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with that one. Now, how do you determine, because Instagram's got like the Instagram story now and the live feed, how do you determine what you're going to put in as just like a regular picture on Instagram and what you're going to do for the live stream?
Yeah. So it depends on the size, and if it won't crop right for square, it'll typically go to the story or it'll go to Twitter, as well as just the top 5 to 10 photos that will go on Instagram, but the rest of them can go to the story since they'll only live for 24 hours as opposed to as long as Instagram exists.
Yeah, that I find that for my Instagram, I don't necessarily like putting everything to stories because it is only 24 hours. and
Right.
and if I'm gonna, put the work in to get a good shot, take 50 shots to find 2 good ones. I don't want to waste it for 24 hours.
Well, you take 50 shots. She probably takes 3.
She takes like -2 and she gets 3 good ones.
Oh, okay. Yeah, exactly. That's how that works. That is exactly how that works. So when I was doing, it's funny you mentioned Instagram because I'm actually a nurse, what I do for a living, and I'm the manager where I work. And so I started putting the feelers out to like moms, and I'm like, so what are the kids into, because our main source is kind of Facebook, and everybody's like, it's Instagram. Instagram's the big thing right now. So I'm like, oh my gosh. I guess one of them said like, oh yeah, Facebook. My kid says Facebook's for old people. I'm like, oh, that's good. That's great.
Yeah, definitely gear my captions differently for all 3 platforms. With Facebook definitely being the oldest and the most vanilla caption, so I'm not going to use as many emojis and things like that for Facebook, whereas I will on Twitter and Instagram.
Mm-hmm. Now, when you're using Instagram, are you using any of the filters on Instagram, or are you using like Photoshop in post, or nothing at all?
I use Photoshop in post as well, and then we have our graphic designer, Chris, and as well as Jenna, who I work closely with in making all of the graphics, as well as the little tags on the bottom. Right now we're promoting Irish Wear Green, and they also help with the photo editing and capturing and all of that.
Wow, that must be nice.
It really must be nice.
Here I am, about to take a Photoshop class in college just to learn how to do Photoshop.
Yeah.
And she's got a whole team to do it for her.
Well,
yeah.
Now, Katie, did you play any sports at all growing up?
I was a dancer growing up, so I lived in the ballet studio where I did competitions. I was on a team.
Nice.
That was outside of school.
Very cool.
So did that ever translate into like cheerleading? I know you said like ballet, and I know those two things aren't really close. But...
I was a cheerleader in high school, and that's kind of how I found photography, was taking photos of my friends in dance class. Kind of realized I was good at it and took it from there.
Okay, so we keep talking about photography, and I want to skip ahead.
Go ahead, skip ahead.
I want to know what kind of camera you're using and what kind of camera you love to use. And if they're the same, that's fine.
I'm actually using my dream camera. So it's a Canon 1DX Mark II.
That's a nice camera.
It's okay.
Yeah, that's a nice camera. It's better than anything I have.
And then my go-to lens would be the 70-200 f2.8.
Okay. Yeah, I use a Sony A6000 right now, and my go-to lens is the 55 or the 70-210 2.8.
Nice. And then I also just got this new toy that I've been playing around with. It's a Sony camera, but it has it's like a selfie camera basically that I've been giving to the players to play around with. We have yet to figure it out completely, but we're getting there.
I think I seen that one. Did you post the video of them getting on the bus or something like that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Very cool.
We're going to attempt it again tonight at dinner and see how it goes.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, I'll keep an eye out for it. I'll get those. I'll definitely help you out, get you retweeted out on those for sure. For sure.
Awesome. Thanks.
Now, if you would have played a sport outside of cheerleading, cheerleading's a sport in my opinion. That's tough. Will's daughter's just now getting into cheerleading.
Yeah.
And we won't get into that because he's having an issue with how the coach is teaching him how to do flips. And,
well, no, that was at tumbling.
Oh, okay. Well, there's that.
Yeah, that was something different. And but, I'm like, for $275 a month, yeah. That's a whole nother episode.
Yeah, been there.
Yeah.
So, if you would have played any other sport, what would you have jumped into? Do you think?
I think softball.
Softball? Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. So let me ask you this. We talked about, your off-season stuff and, kind of what's going on right now with you. But what is game day? You wake up, it's game day. For instance, it's September 1st, Notre Dame, Michigan. What does the day look like, the itinerary looking like for Katie Meyers?
Yeah, so we can start with Friday because that's really when game day starts for me. We have a team meeting, and then we go into practice. And from there, we shower, change, we go to team mass. Then we have a pep rally on campus. And from there, we go over to the hotel. And that's pretty much where game day starts for me, is when we get to the hotel for dinner and meetings. And then I typically will not sleep much that night. Wake up early. We have breakfast at the hotel, usually between 7 and 8. From there, we go into meetings again. And then for a night game, so for Michigan, we'll come to the stadium and practice that morning. Kind of just a walkthrough. And then from there, it's get on the bus. We're dressed, suits, dresses, all that. And from that point, it's Coach Kelly giving our pregame speech and walk to the stadium. And from there, I do warm-ups on the field with the players of taking photos, videos, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, all that. And my goal for the warm-ups is to get as many pictures of the players that I can that kind of looks like it's in-game, so we can use those on social.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes the Wi-Fi in the stadium isn't good enough to get photos from our photographers. So I like to have a backup plan. And then last season, I spent the first 3 to 3.5 quarters up in the press box tweeting and kind of still figuring out where I'll be this year. I might be on the field. I might be up in the press box. And then post-game, we win, and I do social media with the players, having them talk to the fans, say what's up, how they're feeling. Then we do a Twitter poll for voting for player of the game on offense and defense. And then after that, it's pretty much just preparing for the next morning of all the content that's going to go out after a win and do it all over again.
So how do the players take to you taking all the pictures and everything like that? I can only imagine that in this day and age with how everybody loves to be on Twitter and everything.
They like having pictures of themselves. We have a way for them to access the photos, so I post them after each practice and each game, so they can go through and post it on their social media accounts and whatnot.
Now, do they ever ask you like, "Hey, I really want to do this. Like, how do I post this picture, or how can I make this picture look better?"
Yeah, sometimes they'll ask for help. They'll also ask for help making sure the grammar's correct and spelling and whatnot, and I really appreciate that.
So then if I ever tweet you and say, "Hey, can you check this and make sure the grammar is okay?" Would you do that for me?
I'm happy to.
All right,
great.
awesome.
So I gotta ask, who's the most who wants their pictures the most, or who has some of the most unique ideas on the team, or just says, "Hey, Katie, can you take a picture of this?" Who sticks out in your mind?
Why don't you take a guess first?
Oh my gosh, I would actually say Dexter Williams.
Not so much. Dexter definitely likes the photos, but he never usually asks. I would say Jerry Tillery is up there.
Okay, yeah, I get that. He was on. He was kind of the star, if you remember, of the HBO special when they followed him around and stuff like that. I didn't really feel like. Yeah, exactly, Terry Gillery. I didn't feel like he liked it though at that point in time. But yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, I definitely give him credit for doing his own thing on social media and definitely branding himself, which is something I preach to the players as much as I can, of creating their own personal brand and working with them on that.
Yeah, that's very cool. Yeah, I would think, I don't know, who else would come to mind? Maybe like Alize Mack, or I can't think off the top of my head of who would be just out there with it. You know, our guys, Brandon Wimbush maybe.
No, Brandon, not so much.
Not so much?
No, he's pretty focused when it comes to practice and games and all that.
Now, as far as focus goes, I'm thinking Drew Tranquil right off the top of my head.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You got to steal that picture like the Hope Diamond. Yeah, I could see that for sure. So you talked about, you take pictures at warm-ups and you try to make it look like it's in the game. Now, is that like a unique idea, or did somebody teach you to do that, or how did you come about that kind of thing?
I think I kind of just came up with it. I guess when you're in a crunch and you have something that's better than nothing, you go with it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was Michigan State that I started doing that last year.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, so you're doing a lot during the game. You're doing all the tweeting, correct? Then
I am. In the past, yes, for the most part.
So have you had any ideas on Twitter or social media just in general that have just kind of fallen flat, or have you also had some that you thought, this isn't going to do so well, and then it blows up? Because that's what we run into with this show.
Absolutely, all the time. I did this series of dad jokes that I thought was going to do really well, and it did okay, but it didn't do as well as I was hoping it would.
Yeah, I get that. We had the soccer coach on, Notre Dame's soccer coach Chad Riley on, and it was a hit, and it's still our highest ranking episode as far as listens and all this and that, but not by much. To me, and then we did these local coaches spotlight shows, and they've been ridiculously just successful, just crazy amounts of success. And at the time I did it, and I was like, I don't know how this is going to go, and everybody loved them. So we had to actually coaches calling in saying, and I had to reject people. So yeah, I totally get that.
Yeah, we had one tweet last year. I don't know if you remember it, but we prepared for USC week. We had this graph or this video prepared of Josh Adams pushing the Trojan horse out of the stadium after a long run, and we had it ready to go probably Wednesday of game week, and we knew we were going to post it if and when we won, which we obviously did.
Yep.
And I put it out, and I was panicking because it was a little bit risky, but it did really well.
Nice. So you were just kind of like, let's hope, and then it just did awesome. Yeah, I do remember that. That was pretty cool. That was very good work.
So you can't see me right now, but you said USC, and I got really excited because we just got this girl on our team at work, and she went to South Carolina, and we've been going back and forth, and she's like, if you say USC, that means the University of South Carolina. And we're all like, you're nuts. That means University of Southern California. So when you said that, I got really excited because now on Monday, tomorrow, when I go back to work, I'm going to be like, hey, you know what? So I just talked to the social media director for Notre Dame. She said USC, and guess what? She meant Southern California.
We're probably lucky she said USC, to be honest with you. There's way more other things she could have probably said.
Yeah, and remember, they're my rival from my alma mater as well. It's a double rivalry.
Yeah, definitely. That's I'll tell you what, I think we're gonna, when we get off the phone with you, our segment today, we're gonna talk about teams trending up and teams trending down, and I think you guys are primed to trend up with Chip Kelly there, and I think you guys are going to be extremely successful. Do you still follow UCLA close, or I'm sure a large chunk of your time's taken out with Notre Dame, but I bet you peak a little bit.
I definitely am paying attention to what's going on in Westwood as much as I can.
Mm-hmm. So tell us this.
I've got a couple people over there that I am friendly with on that staff, so
yeah,
I'm following.
Very cool. What do you think about Chip Kelly coming there? Are you excited? Do you think good things are going to happen out there?
I do. I definitely think it's going to be a building year, and I'm hoping for the best. But I'm very excited for the future of the program and what could be in the next 2 to 3 seasons.
Nice. So what do you think about the Irish this year? I mean, you're at every practice,
I am.
Yeah, I mean, it's even the practices that are closed to the media, and I'm not going to ask you anything specific or anything like that. I wouldn't go that far, but yeah, I would venture to say you have several stories that you could probably tell that others would have no idea about. Am I correct?
Yeah. All I'm going to say is that people have a reason to be excited.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool.
So Katie, is this is college where you want to end at? Maybe not at Notre Dame, maybe at a different college, or do you want to go, what's your next step? I know that you're still young and you're still thinking about it, but if you had that one job.
I'm pretty new to Holyfield. I just turned 25. So I'm not sure what's next after this. I really enjoy being here with Notre Dame football and kind of just taking it day by day and enjoying what I have right now. But I do really love baseball, so I could see myself in, the majors in the future doing this.
Nice. I bet you do not like that South Bend winter, though.
Yeah, so never saw snowfall until last year.
Is that right? Wow.
She's got like 3 Gore-Tex puffer jackets on.
I don't think she comes outside. Yeah. She just, social media director, she's just sitting on Twitter. That's it. 6 months she hibernates. There's no doubt. Katie, we'll get
We practice indoors during the winter. So that's
Yeah.
lucky.
Yeah, the coach is like, hey, we got to go outside.
Yeah.
And Katie's like, hey, coach, can't we go inside today?
I wonder how well. I wonder how well that would go with Coach Kelly.
Coach Kelly just pulled me aside at the bowl game and said, can you handle 10 weeks of it being really cold? And I said, I can handle 10 weeks, Coach.
She said, don't make it 11, just 10.
Oh, that's funny. Can you, real quick, can you compare a UCLA game day and a Notre Dame game day? Any kind of differences or things that stand out? Or, even if you like one more than the other, I won't put you on the spot too much with that because I know you probably do love both schools.
I do love the schools, but nothing compares to a Notre Dame game day, at least. And I've been to a lot of game days. I've been to probably 15 schools for game days, and there is nothing like it than South Bend. It is special. You can just feel it in the air.
Yeah, I've taken people up there that aren't Notre Dame fans at all, and, it's like they go and they're like, yeah, I'll go. It's football. I love football, whatever. And then they come home and they're like, that's awesome. They're like, that's an amazing experience. Very cool. Yeah, my parents came out for a game last year, and my dad went to UCLA, and they have season tickets to those games and all that. They came for the Wake Forest game, which was pretty cold and rainy. Oh, that is horrible.
Yeah. But they came out of that game telling me how incredible it was and the environment and how, the Rose Bowl is a really cool place to play, but there's nothing like Notre Dame Stadium.
Yep, especially now. The Jumbotron and the piped-in music has made a ton of difference. You wouldn't, when they first talked about putting it in, I was stoked. We're one of the last schools to get it. Story for another day. But we got it, and I was like, I'm sure it'll improve the experience. And I was at the home opener last year, and I was like, oh yeah, that makes a big difference for sure. So, Katie, we will get you out of here on this. I know you got to get to the team dinner tonight. We won't hold you up too much longer. But is there a game or event that's been most memorable in your career so far? And, what was it? And if it wasn't at Notre Dame, can you pick one from Notre Dame as well?
Yeah. So I'll start with Notre Dame. It was USC last year, which was, for obvious reasons, I really enjoyed beating them. So that game was really special, beating them by a lot and just a lot of little moments from that day that stood out. So that was pretty special. And then there's also my sophomore year of college, I was able to go to the College World Series with UCLA. And UCLA ended up winning the whole thing. And that was kind of the moment I decided that this is what I wanted to do for a living. So that moment kind of just stands out too.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, we did a poll about a week or so ago about your favorite game in the Coach Kelly era, and by far it was the USC game from last year. So, and especially you being on, on ground zero out there, taking the pictures and up in the box. I'm sure that was an incredible experience that night for sure.
Yeah, that was a special one. I won't forget that day.
Well, Katie, we appreciate you coming on with us. Me and my wife will actually be up there for the Vandy game, and we'll be up there from Wednesday to Saturday. So we, if possible, we might try to meet up with you. We'll give you one of the Notre Dame Club of Columbus shirts. If you're willing to, if you got a spare half second, we will find you somewhere because we usually go up from like Wednesday through Saturday game day. So we'll definitely look you up if you're around.
I'll be around for sure.
I was going to say that was a dumb statement. You'll definitely be around. That's for sure.
She's like, Greg, I only work for the university.
Yeah,
I think I might be here.
I only work for the university. Yep, that is a fact. So,
probably be.
Yeah, you look for the person just sprinting somewhere with the giant camera on their shoulder.
Yeah, a small person that just doesn't belong with a football team.
That is hilarious. Well, Katie, again, thank you so much for coming on. We'll definitely, I'll look for you next month. I'll hit you up and we'll get you one of the shirts. And, you have anything else to say to our Columbus listeners here in Ohio?
Go Irish.
Easy enough. All right, Katie, you have an awesome evening.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely. See
you later.
Take care.
Bye.
All right, guys, that was Notre Dame social media director Katie Meyers. You can follow her on IG and Twitter at Katie Meyers _ or at Katie _Myers_. She got to fix that. Something's got to be done with that Twitter handle.
Well, Katie Meyers is probably a pretty common
Why
name.
doesn't she have the blue dot?
I don't know. Because she's not Notre Dame. She's going as Katie Meyer.
I got you.
I bet you if she, on her second phone, it's probably Notre Dame with the blue dot.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, the second phone, the infamous second phone.
Yeah, there was a second phone.
So that was cool. That was a really cool interview. Nice insight there. We hesitate sometimes on this show to get too deep into talking about the practice and team. And all I really wanted out of that question, if you could tell some stories, was just, oh yeah, that's all I really wanted.
Yeah.
I was hoping I didn't cross the line there, but I think we did good. So yeah, that was really cool. Now I want to quit my job, by the way.
Yeah.
God, and she's 25 years old, and that's what she does right there. Be jealous, Irish Nation.
Yeah, right.
So we got a big announcement coming up. We're going to get to at the end of the show. Yeah, we're going to make all you guys wait. I don't even know how many people are viewing right now. There's a few out there. So let's get to some college football teams trending up, trending down. I didn't print this off for Will at all. So I'm going to just rattle off a couple of trending ups, and I want your opinion. So this should be good. Just some blind opinion as you're sucked into this soccer game like none other right now.
Yeah.
My dad asked one time, he was watching. He's like, "What are you guys watching in there?" He's like, "You guys aren't looking at the camera."
Yeah, it's some kind of sport. We're always
some kind
watching.
of sport. Yeah, podcasts. It's made for the downloadable content anyway. I mean, you don't care about seeing us until I get a camera that can actually see us.
Yeah.
So if your son stopped taking weights to iPads, great.
I know, right?
So, again, Allison Hayes is going to be on Friday. So these are just some stuff, we probably won't get to on Friday. I mean, it's her show. She's one of my heroes. And as far as sports media goes, I'm just pumped. I don't care if anybody listens, to be honest with you. I'm just pumped to have a sports conversation with her. So it's kind of one of those things. I know if we tried to get to everything between giving her all the time she wants and everything else that's going on, picking national championship winner, Heisman winner, playoff, dark horse, stuff like that. We're never going to get to some of these more obscure topics. So what do you think about Purdue going into 2017? I'd have them trending up with Jeff Brom and that offense. Sure?
Yeah.
All right.
They're going to be Purdue. They'll win a game
that they shouldn't.
They'll lose games that they should win. They're not going to play in the college football playoff.
No, not at all. But they were 7-6 last year. I see definitely at least +1.
Okay, yeah, 8-5.
Yeah,
maybe 9-4.
Counting a bowl win, a Swiffer Wet Jet Bowl win, something like that. But I think they could give some teams some fits, and I'm glad that you mentioned that. The winning a game that they shouldn't. That's actually a really good point. Now this one I think might hold even with the record, but I think they're going to scare a lot of people because of their two stars, and it's Michigan State. I was very impressed by them last year based off of they got worked by us, and then Ohio State worked them as well. I mean, these two games weren't even close, but they came back they were 3-9 the year before, go 10-3 last year, and they got Brian Lewerke, who some people are picking as a dark horse contender for Big Ten Player of the Year. And then they got a kid that looks like the Predator with his dreads. His name's Felton Davis. The guy's 6'4", 6'5", 225 wide receiver. Woo. And then L.J. Scott's coming back as running back. I think that they could definitely be primed to break even, have another 10-win year, another quiet 10-win year.
Yeah, they'll probably second or third best team in the Big Ten. I don't think they're good enough to be the best team in the Big Ten. Just with Penn State and with Ohio State, both those teams are loaded, and you just don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, injuries could happen. Michigan State's one of those schools, unlike Ohio State or an Alabama or, schools like that, where it's like if one of these guys that I mentioned gets hurt, that's kind of a wrap for schools like Michigan State.
Yeah.
Alabama, Ohio State, I don't know how good Penn State's going to be this year. I hesitate to throw them in that group. Clemson maybe.
And
Clemson.
and that's where I say that Michigan State might be the second best team in the Big Ten, because Penn State has Trace McSorley, who I think is a good college football quarterback, but that's all he is.
Yes.
You look at what he had last year and the year before. I mean, he had Saquon Barkley, arguably the best running back in college football at the time. He had, what's his name, Mike Glosicki or whatever, however you pronounce his name, the tight end who was 6'7" and ran like a 4.5 40.
Gliac, make something up.
Yeah. So, like, you watch a lot of his games, and all he did was he just threw the ball up, and somebody made a play.
Yeah.
So we don't know what he has this year with that. And James Franklin, I mean, he's a really good coach, but
yeah, unfortunately, I think he's kind of a scumbag, to be honest with you.
That's what I've heard from.
So let's call him up and have him on the show.
Absolutely.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, speaking of Saquon, did you? You probably didn't see Ricky's status after Saquon ripped off 39 yards on the first carry. He's calling for Super Bowl.
Oh, my gosh. You know what? We talked about that at work, and people were like, oh, did you see that? Blah, blah, blah.
Did you see the next 4 carries, though?
Yeah, he's like, oh, he's so good. And I'm like, you know what I saw? I saw a guy who can't break away from a Browns defensive back.
Right. Exactly.
So in college, that was probably house. That's probably 6 points.
Sure.
In the NFL, that's 39 yards.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Another team I got trending up is Virginia Tech. I got Virginia Tech, finished 9-4 last year. I like Justin Fuente a lot, the coach. I like Josh Jackson coming back. I think the ACC, I've heard Kelly Bryant's job at Clemson is not safe. And does that mean you got this savior coming, or does that mean he's just not playing well and the guy's pretty good behind him, so we got to try something else? You know?
Yeah.
So that could leave the ACC wide open, and I am not a believer like ESPN is of the freaking Miami Hurricanes. I am not buying it.
Yeah, they'll be good. They'll be similar to what Georgia was with Mark Richt there.
Mm-hmm.
They'll have some really good years and some years where they're good, where they should have been better. But with Virginia Tech, I really want to see what their defense is going to be. They had their star middle linebacker get drafted by the Bills in the first round. I think he was like pick 15 or 16.
Mm-hmm.
And then his brother, who was a legit safety, he got drafted in the first round also by the Steelers. So yeah, I'd like to see. They made a lot of the tackles and a lot of the plays for their defense. So
yeah, it's going to be interesting with Virginia Tech. I think they could easily win the or not easily, but I think they could. If they won the ACC, I don't think people should be shocked.
I don't either. I think it's still Clemson's to lose.
Sure.
And we don't know what Florida State is with Taggart now there.
Mm-hmm.
Although when he went to Oregon, he did his thing and
well, I'm gonna skip. Let's skip to that because I'm actually got FSU trending down. I have no faith in DeAndre Francois.
Yeah,
Taggart is like 51-52 career coaching record. He's a good coach. Don't get me wrong, because he's been in some shitholes. The Western Kentucky was a mess.
Yeah. But when he went to Oregon, they were coming off of losing the national championship and then having a coach who they thought was going to be the answer and who wasn't, and the team was kind of a mess and they didn't know who was going to sign and all this stuff, and he made them respectable. And until his quarterback went down, they were good.
Yeah,
they were real good.
Well, they got Herbert coming back this year.
Yeah, and everybody's saying he's a dark horse for
Heisman,
and for best quarterback of the year.
And you know what? I actually have him trending down because I think the whole team hinges on him.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
And Cristobal's an offensive line coach. He did nice things at FIU. He turned that program completely around.
Yeah,
they were stupid for firing him.
But you don't go from FIU to Oregon.
Yeah. The only thing that would save them is if Herbert stays healthy, as I said, and the Pac-12 is just wide open.
Yeah.
I mean, your flag football team might score some points in the Pac-12. I mean, it is completely wide open out there.
Yeah.
We talked with Katie about UCLA, and I'm excited to. I personally, there's some people around me. I know Jerry's one of them that disagrees, but that UCLA is not trending up. That Chip Kelly's not going to work out. I think he's going to. I think the UCLA could be one of the best jobs in the country. When you take a kid who has no lean any which way, which a lot of these 5 and 4 stars don't, you think LA, weather, the girls, like playing in the Rose Bowl every weekend.
The Golden Tanchilas.
Yeah, the Golden Tanchilas. I think that's come up before.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do.
Plus it's Chip Kelly.
And it's Chip Kelly.
And what does Chip Kelly do in college football? He wins.
He wins.
Everywhere he's gone, he's won.
Other than the 4, and he even kind of won with the Eagles. It worked at first.
It worked at first until everybody figured it out, and then it was what everybody thought it was.
Yeah, and then
they are who we thought they were.
You play to win the game.
Yeah.
Playoffs. Talking about playoffs. Practice. Talking about practice. Yeah, so I also think it's hard to get guys at that level to buy in because he was restricting their diets. He was really working them out like super hard because he wanted to be in shape.
Yeah.
He wanted that one play every X amount of seconds, and that just doesn't fly. No, especially when you got guys that you're probably sending off every which way as far as, cutting them or replacing them or this or that. Yeah, that just doesn't work.
Yeah, not in the NFL.
No, not in the NFL.
I mean, these guys are making more money than you are, and they're more important than you are.
Absolutely. Yep.
So,
yep. They will jump ship in a heartbeat.
yeah, not to mention you have no clout in the NFL.
No.
Because you've done nothing in the NFL.
None. And really, an argument to be had that this won't work at UCLA is he's really kind of only done it at one spot really successfully.
Well, on a major when he
level.
was at Northern Hampshire or something like that.
New Hampshire, Northern Hampshire,
yeah,
there too,
pretty much. Oh, sorry, Dembele just hit a rocket.
Hey, we cover soccer too.
Yeah,
we cover soccer too. It's okay.
Yeah, you do that because that was impressive. Anyways, yeah, when he was there at that smaller school, they won.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they were either Division II or 1AA.
1AA.
Yeah. So they get no major spotlight.
Yeah, no big spotlight there. But the Oregon job, and then he couldn't get over the hump. The Auburn hump, Ohio State comes to mind.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Mm-hmm. It was just like that offense. It'll lay 60, 70 on a bad or average team. But yeah.
Well, he should get credit for at least one national championship. But however, the SEC controls the NCAA.
Oh, you're not talking about Cam Newton?
I mean, Cam Newton. I don't care. I'll say this to Cam Newton's face. You don't think I will? If you know Cam Newton, go get him because this is truth.
Le'Veon Bell's an enemy of the show, and now Cam Newton can be an enemy of the show.
Yeah, I will Kelvin Benjamin him. Except I'm not going to walk away like Calvin Benjamin,
I'll come at you, bro.
Yeah, right? Dude, you're like 6'55" feet tall. I will just, go for your ankle.
I'm interested to see how this comment ends.
Okay, so anyways, look, his dad took $180,000 for their church. $200,000 for the church, okay? That's great that somebody...
You mean people don't find that overnight?
Yeah, right. That's great that somebody wanted to give that money to a church. However, in the rules of the NCAA, it says that family members are not allowed to receive money for you or for anything like that. And the NCAA just said, yeah, okay, whatever. He didn't know.
Yeah,
he didn't know.
So
man,
what?
I got man, come on now.
A lot of hate.
Look, you can't let this go because I know this was 2011 or whatever.
Yeah,
that happened. But Reggie Bush, his mom got a house.
He also got in trouble for driving around the car.
So okay, they took his Heisman. They took their national championship. Come on, man. We all know who won that national championship. But they did all this stuff to him, and then you have a guy who it's proven, and they found it. That his dad took $200,000, and what did they do? Nothing.
I just think you
Zero.
don't have any. I don't think you have any faith in miracles. This is like Make-A-Wish. This was a great story. Disney's gonna make a movie about this. No, Will's right. That church was condemned. Condemned. All right, it's not gonna exist anymore. And next thing you know, all of a sudden it's fine, and he's got $200K in the pocket. And also, one little caveat: he was going to Mississippi State.
Yep.
A lot of people don't know that he was going to go to Mississippi State. And all of a sudden, he going to Auburn, and the church is fixed.
Well, and he got kicked off of Florida for stealing something.
Stealing laptops.
Laptops, yeah.
He was down there with Tim Tebow. Could you have imagined that run? Tebow to Cam Newton.
Well, a lot of people think that Urban Meyer left Florida because of Cam Newton not being there.
Oh, yeah, that would make sense.
I mean,
I'll tell you what. We won't get into the whole. Columbus is not on fire. For those of you watching outside the state, we won't get into that too much. But even as great as I'm not an Urban Meyer fan, but he's a great coach. And what Florida has had in the last couple years, I don't even think he could win with. There's been a couple kids that look like they don't even, especially at quarterback.
I don't. Well, okay, that's the one thing. But they had Muschamp as their head coach, and that dude, he didn't draft. He recruited some of the best defensive players in college football. Mm-hmm. He just didn't know how to coach. Yeah. And now he's at South Carolina?
USC.
The other USC. The other white chicken the other white meat.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Oh, the white chicken.
Yeah, the white chicken. My wife likes the dark chicken.
Off like the rotisserie.
Yeah, she likes that, and I'm all white chicken. I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just like chicken.
I do too.
I mean,
but-
I'll eat any kind of chicken. You got some chicken?
Man, if you got chicken, let's have some.
Let's eat some chicken right here
Yeah.
on the show. Tyson might not sponsor us anymore, but hey, we'll eat it right
Why
here.
wouldn't they sponsor us?
They don't like us. I'm sure.
I'm sure I have something against that.
I'm sure Jerry said something on this show that has made because we're already out on who did he offend? Oh, the Mickey's people, the Mickey's.
Oh yeah, he
the
did.
Mickey's people, and then we're out in Australia now. What's really funny is those Australian listens still haven't popped back up yet.
It was probably some drunk Aussie who was like,
Look at these two guys.
"Oh, they're talking about football."
All right.
Oh no, that's not football.
Oh man. So teams trending up. Let's get the show back on some sort of rail here because we got a big announcement. We mentioned that at some point earlier. Iowa State, I think, is trending up, especially as wide open as the Big 12 is. Big 10, Big 12.
Yeah.
The second Big 10.
So Iowa State's head coach was when Columbus was somewhat burning a week ago. Iowa Head State's coach was the man.
Iowa Head State.
Yeah, I did that earlier today too. I was at football. I was like, "Oh,
I wish we had an excuse.
I know. Oh, I'm watching the game.
You're watching
You
the
know.
game. I've had one beer. We're in trouble.
Yeah. At least I didn't mess up when we were talking to Katie.
Yeah, I think we did pretty well.
But anyways, Iowa State's head coach, his name came up for the as a name to watch for the Ohio State job. Should Urban Meyer get fired or resign or whatever. So I'll be interested to see. They always seem to be good, but never good enough
Right, they're
to
always
win more
that-
than 9 games.
Yeah, well, they were right in the mix last year. That's for sure, and especially again as wide open as the Big 12 is, I think they're going to be. I think they could be right in the mix. And then I was listening to ESPN Radio this week, and they were talking about they were picking their player of the year in each division, and this David Montgomery, somebody to look out for, over 1,000-yard rusher from last season. So somebody to look out for there. And again, it's wide open because in my team's trending down, I have both Oklahomas. I think both Oklahomas are trending down. You got Mason Rudolph gone. And
Yeah.
Oklahoma State plays as much defense as I'm playing sitting in this chair right now.
Yeah. And Oklahoma will be interesting because they've got the new quarterback coming in who just signed a deal with the Astros or something like that, where they said he could play 1 year of football.
All that even aside, there's a reason that kid couldn't start at either of the places he was before.
Yeah, he's like 5'5".
Yeah.
Like, and that's
looking
given him with cleats on.
That's like Lionel Messi looking dude. Like, there's a reason he didn't start wasn't he at Houston? And
Sure.
I know he was at A&M.
Yeah,
I know that
I'm
for a
not sure.
fact. And then he transferred, and I feel like he was at Houston. I'm looking that up. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
you look that up, Jamie.
Yeah, the Google machine.
Yeah,
I should have offered Katie a job.
yeah, you should have. I bet you could match her pay.
I will not be matching that pay. No, he Texas A&M in 15, and then he's been at Oklahoma since 2016.
Man, what is the deal with Texas A&M? Like, I feel like every quarterback went to Texas A&M, and then they left Texas A&M to go to Oklahoma
Yeah.
or somewhere else.
Well, everybody likes Lincoln Riley, and that's my argument for the young coach. Is like everybody that's listened to this show before knows I'm a PJ Fleck fan, and they get the players. I think they can speak to this generation. It gets the players motivated, very likely. I mean, you're not going to see the Bobby Bowden types very much anymore unless you win.
Yeah,
I mean,
if you win.
if you're Saban, he can stick around till he's 112. As long as he's still winning, it's going to get the players' attention. As long as he's, bumping up bumping these players into the pros, things like that.
So okay, I'm gonna take this off the rails again real quick.
That's what this show's all about.
so-
we act all professional to these guests, and then we're like,
Yeah.
yeah.
So Nick Saban, this came up at the water cooler at work the other day, and we were talking about greatest college head coaches of all time. And of course, everybody's like, "Oh, Nick Saban," and I'm like, "I don't know.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I don't know. He is arguably a top 5.
I think he's top 5 for sure.
Definitely. Oh, sorry. Definitely top 5. Maybe top 3.
Yeah.
But everybody wants to say, "Oh, look what he did at Alabama. Look what he did at LSU." Man, let's look what he did at Michigan State.
Yeah. Yeah.
He didn't do anything at Michigan State.
Less than anything.
Yeah, he was like 7-5 at best.
Yep.
And
he did
then-
have the epic. I mean, he beat one of the better Ohio State teams of all time.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
I do remember that.
You probably don't want to remember that. But.
Yeah. But and I know this doesn't go towards college, but if
No,
you, I'm sorry,
I
if
know where you're going.
If you're going to say that you're the greatest football coach in college history, then when you went to the NFL and you were garbage, when you came from the NFL, he coached under Bill Parcells with Bill Belichick, and then he was under Bill Belichick, and then he went to college, and then moved around, went to the NFL, and man, he was bad in the NFL, just bad.
Yeah.
Like Steve Spurrier was better in the NFL.
Steve Spurrier was golfing, though. Who knows how much he was actually coaching? Shimmer Sham, Shimmer Sham.
Yeah, I just the old ball coach.
Yeah, Shimmer Sham.
Yeah.
How much longer are we going to be at practice?
We're talking about practice.
Jason Lynch on here just said Arkansas trending up. You'd be able to speak to it better than I can. He said recruiting is trending up. So, yeah, new coach. You got Burt out of there. I can't see why not. It is a tough division. I mean, we can go all day, and we should have gone all day and recorded it with how good the SEC really is. But that West, especially for Arkansas, man, I don't know. It's going to take somebody falling off because I know Ole Miss is getting a lot of hype, which shocks me.
Yeah.
A&M, they just paid out the ass for Jimbo, and I think anything less than 2 national titles with that kind of pay,
Oof, yeah, right.
like even if you win one at Texas A&M, I don't think it's worth it. $7.5 million, $7.5 million every year, guaranteed. So $75 million. They fire him tomorrow, he's still getting all $75 million.
Yep.
So there's a lot of competition there, but yeah, I like that thought as an alternate, definitely an alternate team, maybe come out of left field somewhere.
Yeah, they
But then again, you got Auburn in there as well. So.
Yeah, Arkansas's got I can't remember his name. He's a running back who was at Texas A&M, made a couple bad choices, and then he was on Last Chance U.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of who you're talking about.
This
Can't think of his
kid,
name.
man, he is built like an NFL running back, and I watched some of it, and he at least what they cut, he looks legit.
Does he?
Yeah.
Nice. So we'll wrap up here with our schools trending up, trending down. And again, I think Oklahoma. I could see Oklahoma going 9-3 this year with the loss of Baker and with the loss, and with Lincoln Riley. It's still a relatively new system. We'll see. We'll definitely see. They don't play any defense out there, so it's up for grabs for really anybody, to be honest with you. So NC State's another one with the graduation of Nick Chubb and then Naheem Hines. But I will say, watch out, another dark horse candidate for a Heisman is Ryan Finley. That quarterback might be the most pro-ready of any of the quarterbacks right now. Big-bodied, 6'4", probably 230 guy, big arm. I remember last year they did the Thursday night game on ESPN. It was Lamar Jackson versus I say Lamar Jackson because he was Louisville. So it was Lamar Jackson versus NC State. And, they're there. The game is there for Louisville or Lamar Jackson, essentially, just to watch Lamar Jackson play and spotlight him. And not only did Louisville get torched, but then the narrative at the end of the game was Ryan Finley.
Yeah.
And this kid, he's efficient. I think he didn't throw a pick all year until he played against us. And that was kind of a weird play where it looked like we jumped off sides, but really our line just stood up. And then none of the offensive line moved, and he was just kind of throwing it away. And then Julian Love picked it off for a pick 6. So, just very efficient guy. But I do see them trending down this year from 9-4 last year, and they were contending in the ACC.
Yeah, they didn't just lose Hines at running back. They lost Samuels, I think is his name also.
Yep.
So I think they had like a 3-headed horse, and at least 2 of them went to the NFL, got drafted into the NFL. So it'll be interesting. But see, man, I'm a firm believer that the best quarterbacks in college football that go to the NFL are the quarterbacks that go to like an NC State or
look at Matt Ryan. I mean, he's BC. I mean, that's one of my favorite guys. Probably my favorite player in the league, and he was only recruited by, I think it was like BC, Georgia Tech, and Purdue.
Yeah.
So
I mean, but if you go into the NFL right now and you look at all the starting quarterbacks, you have to put an asterisk beside Tom Brady because yes, he did play at Michigan, but he only started like a half a season. at Michigan. He was the backup quarterback there. But if you look at all the other quarterbacks in the NFL, none of them are from, well, I shouldn't say none of them, but the majority of them are not from major programs. And when I say major programs, I mean like your Alabamas, your Ohio States, your USC.
You look at Flacco, you look at Roethlisberger, guys like that. Even Dalton to an extent.
Yeah.
TCU guy.
TCU up until just now wasn't a major program.
I mean, they were essentially Boise State.
For the most part, yeah.
So, and then my last one that I have trending down is actually Washington State with the loss of Luke Falk. And then, the Pirate is just so sporadic. I know Jerry loves the Pirate, but that dude will beat, I don't know, he'll beat USC but lose to, like, Portland State.
I know, right?
It's so just sporadic and just so random. Just, yeah. Hey, you want to hear how important we are? Katie was tweeting while she was talking to us. So. Actually, I think we are important because she gave us her time, but I think that's how skilled she is right there. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm impressed. That's good stuff. You can just see her. I can see her right now with one hand on the phone on her head or a Bluetooth potentially, and then she's just tweeting away with that other phone.
Yeah.
Like da-da-da-da-da. Very cool. Very cool stuff. Stealing her while she's on the job. So we'll wrap that up. Yeah, exactly. Jason Lynch just said Brady's NFL Combine was horrible.
Yeah, it was bad.
It was real bad, actually.
Yeah.
Real bad. So that's kind of it for that segment of the show. We're going to wrap up here, but wait, there's more. Big announcement in regard to high school football this season here in Central Ohio. I don't have any drum roll or any production value other than the backup phone over here. Yeah, exactly. But basically what's going on is, as you know, we've had the Coaches Spotlight show. And basically it's a second podcast. Yeah, like we need more to do. We are going to be the official home to Notre Catholic's post-game show. That's Notre Catholic's head coach, Ryan Aiello. We are going to be his post-game show. We kind of went back and forth as far as how we're going to do this, or is it going to be another episode of East of the Bend? It's really just going to be, and I'm going to try something here. Hold my beer, watch this. I'm going to try to put the promo photo on and stay Facebook Live, so if you lose this, I'm sorry. Maybe you can do this. Maybe it's not an issue. It looks like I can. So we're going to reveal that right now. It's the logo for the Ryan Aiello post-game show. And, so the East of the Bend podcast, it's not going to be an extra episode of us. It will be us, but it's going to be the Ryan Aiello post-game show presented by East of the Bend. Now, what does that mean? That means that most of the shows will be on Sunday at 5 o'clock. And so Notre Catholic plays most of their games on Fridays. The first game is on Thursday. And we're going to be doing the first show on the 26th at 5 o'clock. We'll wrap that show up, and then we'll do our NFL preview right after that on the 26th. So basically we're going to be doing this show with Coach Aiello, and then we're going to be doing back to the East of the Bend. We'll get everything uploaded from Aiello's show. Same amount of content from us, roughly about an hour, 20, 30 minutes with Coach, talking about the game that week, also talking about the next game coming up. For those of you who live outside of the state and didn't listen when Coach Aiello came on, Notre Catholic is the name brand. If you don't know anything about it, it is the name brand in our county, really in Central Ohio. Third most playoff appearances in state history, in high school football history, 8 state titles. They struggled a little bit last year. They've had some up and down years, but I think Coach Aiello is going to turn it around. So that's what we got going. I'm going to share that picture right now. So if it kills the Facebook Live feed, I apologize. So you can check that out. There it is, all official looking. And look at that, we're still live. All right, still see our ugly mugs. So that's out there now. We'll go ahead and share that several places. So Notre Catholic fans, get used to us. High school football fans, if you want to follow Notre Catholic this season, we're going to be the home for Ryan Aiello's post-game show. Yeah, he knows about it too, by the way, so that's important. It doesn't make us exclusive this season, and what I mean by that is my good friend Josh Whetstone, who was also on the show, we're going to be covering one of his games in the middle of the season. As you know, he was my left tackle when I played running back in high school and this and that. So we're going to cover one of his games as well. We have a lot of things we have planned for Coach Aiello, as well as the one game we're going to cover of West Muskingum. We're going to do, if anybody's ever watched Jay Billis's 90 Feet with Jay Billis, we're going to do that with Coach Aiello before the game. We're going to walk the entire field. We're going to ask him just some random fun questions. We're going to try to get inside the locker room, and I'm going to do some just kind of Facebook Live, the team prayer, and then the run out of the tunnel. Similar to how Notre Dame's doing with the Jumbotron and getting the team prayer and stuff like that. I'm going to try to stream all that Facebook Live. We're still working out some details, but it's getting so close to season now that it's time to announce this thing, get everybody on board, and try to get this dispersed to the masses, because I know there's going to be several people, love North Catholic, hate them, indifferent. You're just a high school fan. You're going to want to tune into this and check it out. We're going to be with them the entire season, whether that's to a state title or whether that ends, the last week in October. So pretty excited about that. How you feeling about that, Will?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I throw out like 666 words, and Will's like, good.
You ever seen The Fifth Element?
I have.
And when Chris Rock is interviewing Bruce Willis, and he's like, blah, 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 and puts the microphone, he's like, yes.
So I'm Chris Rock and you're Bruce Willis. That's good.
Yeah. Yeah. Neither one of us have a career anymore.
Nope, we're done. We're done. So, yeah, that's what we got coming up. So our next show is going to be quick turnaround. We'll be here Friday. The big one. Allison will be on. Stoked for that. I cannot wait. So, so we got good stuff going there. What else is coming up? Don't forget live show at Dempsey's on September the 1st. What else we're covering? First game we're covering for Notre Catholic is Maysville on August 23rd. I do believe that's what it is. It's a Thursday night game, so it's going to be on TV and all this and that. And we're going to be on the sideline. Will's going to be taking some pictures, doing his best Katie Meyers impression out there.
Yeah.
Taking 680 photos to get one good one.
Right.
Yeah.
And she probably was like, what an amateur.
What an amateur. She's like this giggling at whatever camera you have.
Probably.
Comparatively.
Compared to her camera, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, she's like, oh, that's cute. You're adorable. If she could pet your nose, she would.
Yeah, right. But compared to your average camera,
no, your camera's legit. I'm just giving you shit because
stop it.
Stop
it, or I'm gonna tell my mom.
Because I've seen what she has. That thing is ridiculous.
Well, that's all lens.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The camera's probably just.
The cameras are literally like this big, and then you put a grip pod on the bottom of it. Like if you've seen my camera, it's got that little extension on the bottom. It's a grip pod, a battery grip pod. You can put an extra battery in there.
Yeah.
And it helps like when you go for a portrait style picture instead of a landscape. And then when you put the lens on, you look at the lenses that they're using. They're like huge and they got gray part in them. And
if you looked into the sun, you'd have two big cinders left in your eyes.
Yeah.
In your eye sockets.
Yeah. And then they've got all these shields for them so no rain gets on them, and it protects light and stuff like that from getting in and everything like that. So look, that's like a $6,000 camera.
The one she's using?
Maybe 10.
Yeah, no doubt. The
camera is probably $2,000 to $3,000. That lens is probably $4,000.
I was gonna say the lenses are usually more than the camera, correct? Yeah. So maybe you need to go to the school of Katie Meyers. Maybe she could run a class.
Yeah, right.
Teach you how to take some pictures.
Oh, what are you saying?
I'm just kidding, dude.
Look, man.
Dude, I have done nothing but brag about your pictures, so I don't even want to hear it. You want to roll?
And then, yeah, right. You want to roll?
Yeah.
I was about to, but every time I'm like, man, you want to roll? I'm like, you're just going to choke me out.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say that.
Oh, Matt David living in Central Ohio. Have to meet up sometime. Absolutely, man. For sure. Come out to Dempsey's. September 1st, we're doing a live show out there. Come check us out. You can yell and throw things. Don't throw things at us. You can yell at us. I don't care. If you throw things at me, you'll throw me off more than I already am. Rick and Allie Dillon are watching. I'm not sure which one are watching. It's my brother and sister-in-law. So they have the good old joint Facebook account. So I'm hi, both of you. What up?
We'll give you 2 waves in case one of you is watching on one device and one's
Exactly.
on the other device.
Exactly. So, again, we will be right back at it in just a couple days. It's August 17th. I need my calendar in front of me. 7 o'clock. And we might even get going a little sooner if possible. But it's going to be up to Allison. Again, I'm sure we're not her priority. But she did want me to resend her the script. So, hey, whatever.
She's professional, Greg.
Oh, yeah, that's true. And I'm not. The hell, man.
You want to roll?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, I brought a bag of them with me.
Oh man,
That's a bad dad joke.
that was a rough jiu-jitsu joke.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So check us out. This will be uploaded to SoundCloud. The video will be uploaded to YouTube. Turn me down just a little bit. Let's see. iTunes, everybody's favorite, whatever your favorite podcast app is. Remember to go down and check out Dempsey's, even if it's not a football weekend. 346 South High Street, they're our sponsor. Let's go say hello to Mark. I'll be down there next weekend. I'm not telling you what time. I don't want bothered. I'm just kidding. But until next time, go Irish.